there was a distinction being made between one-way relationships, and so kind of felt. Does anybody have the word, the Tibetan phrase for to share a relationship? That should be one that's automatically be the other.
Situn?
No, but yeah, yeah. There you go. Doc chick drill.
Nice.
Yeah, so it is a rather straightforward question, and you can boil it down to saying it. You know, a Toyota is not a Chevrolet just because they're both beautiful.
Oh, okay.
What's the relationship that they share?
They both belong to, okay, so we'll go through it. So working things produced by conscious effort and working things not produced by conscious effort are mutually exclusive. However, they do share a relationship because they're both changing things. They both belong to the category of changing things. So what we're really homing in on here is that members of any given set share a one-way relationship with their parent category. And just because they're members of the same set doesn't necessarily mean that they're members that share a relationship, such that the B1 is automatically the other.
Okay.
Yeah. And like I said, it's pretty common sense, but nothing too deep there. So what famous senshi is given as an example of a changing thing produced by conscious effort? Give the full form. We reconstructed the syllogism too, using the senshi. And I was hoping that somebody could give me the full Jorla in both English and Tibetan.
Consider the sound of a conch shell horn.
Perfect. Yeah. What's the Tibetan?
Man.
For a conch shell. The sound of a conch shell.
Tungdra?
Zundra. Yeah, Zundra. Yeah, Zundra. Yeah, totally. And so if we were going to say that it's changing, how would you? What would the next line be?
Oh, it's changing because it's made by conscious effort.
Yeah, in Tibetan.
Oh, mitapa?
Mitapa yinte. Yeah, mitapa yinte. And then the last line, because it is
Something by conscious effort.
Something Chebe here, but another word is added.
Yeah. Yeah, great. Yeah, right.
And you know, it appears to be probably a pretty famous one. So I thought it would be worth putting in here. What's going on? Oh yeah. So a classical example of a changing thing produced by conscious effort is the sound of a conch shell. And the Yoruba is Dundra Churchen, Mitapa Yente, Soljung Yimye.
Adam, I apologize if there's anything we can do about your sound quality. The translators are actually having a hard time hearing you. And if you can't do it, you can't do it, but they can't translate you.
I'll see if there's some setting on my microphone here.
I'm sorry to interject.
Oh, yeah. Hold on. It is on a different microphone and a different input. So give me 1 second.
The lavalier mic that's attached to your tie right now seems to have run off with it.
We can't hear you at all, Adam.
Yeah, his lips are moving. It's typically a good sign, but not in this case.
Test.
Oh,
glorious.
That's so chung and clear.
All right. Sorry about that.
Okay, good.
Listen to those dulcet tones.
Yeah. So describe the difference between perceiving the changing nature of sound and perceiving the fact that sound is changing. What are the two terms that we're contrasting here?
Nice question.
Takpa mitakpa.
Yeah.
And the difference is in one you are perceiving a changing object, in the other one you are perceiving an unchanging object, which is a fact.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, you could, yeah, definitely. That's a good place to start. So what we've been talking about is lumps, perceiving objects that are lumped of qualities, right? So sound, right? When we perceive sound, hold on. Yeah, you had a good place. Pei Ling
Direct
just wants to add.
one is direct perceive, one is perceive with logic.
Yeah. Completely. Yeah, and let's see if we can here. It might be easier we'll just look at it this way. So when we perceive sound, we simultaneously perceive all the qualities that come into existence and grow with it. And this is what is meant by the term Zeiqi. So for instance, when the auditory consciousness perceives, and the two words that I was looking for here is mikpa and ngepa. Yeah.
See and ascertain.
Yeah, totally. So for instance, when the auditory consciousness perceives a sound, we simultaneously perceive its changing nature because a certain changiness comes into existence and grows with that sound. However, the fact that sound is changing is something that can only be ascertained, ngepa, by conceptual consciousness. So therefore it's not perceivable by the senses. Is that okay, Geshe Michael?
Yeah, you got it. There's a difference between perceiving it and ascertaining it.
Yeah.
It's similar to Nangla Mangepa. What's the example?
Nangla. So not perceiving a self.
When a high school girl is texting her friend and her mother says, "Come to dinner," she perceives a sound, but she doesn't ascertain it.
What's the Nangla here?
It's appearing, but
it does appear. It appears to her, but she doesn't grasp it.
Yeah.
So they're making it's very helpful in your book when they finally say it's not the same thing to perceive something as it is to be aware of it, or something like that.
Yeah.
Is there a relationship between Ngepa and Mikpa?
That's a question. I think you have to mikpa to ngepa, but you don't have to ngepa to mikpa.
So is a Ngepa a Mikpa, but a Mikpa is not then necessarily a Ngepa?
Exactly.
Or do you Mikpa and then Ngepa?
Well, I think you would mikpa first and then ngepa, technically. But millisecond, zillisecond apart.
Millisecond.
Yeah. All right. So
Yeah,
I have
confession.
453 and 454 for you.
Will you read it, Adam?
I'll try. Yeah, I will. John Zen intake John Dong Jai Mitak Pata de Duma Mik Pei Chick to Mik Guna Jia Dong Yede Mik Jia Dong Yede Mik hold on, up or down. Mik Bartel.
Doesn't mean Mame Batal.
Mik Bartel.
Yeah.
Jada Mik Pei Chiro.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Zhanzhen Nianshe Ki. So what's Zhanzhen Nianshe, Adam?
It's auditory consciousness.
Yeah, on consciousness of what you hear, and you're holding on to a sound.
Right.
Does it perceive the sound and the impermanence of the sound together or separately?
Together. Has to.
Yeah, together. Does not perceive them separately, he says. Therefore, it must perceive the sound and the impermanence of the sound together, right? As a single entity. Okay.
Yeah.
If you agree to that, then you have to agree that when you see sound, when you perceive sound, you must also be perceiving that it has a self nature.
Yeah,
because the impermanence of sound is inherent to it. That's the point here.
Okay? It would be equivalent to say that you're when you perceive sound, you also perceive the changing nature of sound.
You could say that, but what he's saying is, if when you perceive sound, you are simultaneously aware of its impermanence, then you must be perceiving sound as an entity which exists in and of itself.
Like it kind of comes along with the object in it, like a packet almost.
Yeah, therefore that sound would be self-existent. That's what he's saying.
Hmm.
Okay. And then his reason is this: you must be perceiving that sound as self-existent, because when you perceive the sound, you simultaneously perceive all of its qualities in a package. Therefore, you must be perceiving that sound as self-existent, because you are failing to perceive it as not being self-existent.
Okay.
Okay, that's all. And that's a falsity, as I made a note to myself. Okay. Just because you don't perceive the absence of something doesn't mean you perceive the presence of something. Okay.
But is he treating mitakpa as an absence?
It's a weird thing where the whole question is, when you hear a sound, is it impermanent or not?
Has to be.
It has to be. When you hear a sound, do you hear a sound which is impermanent, which is changing moment by moment? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Yes.
Are you aware of its impermanence?
No.
But you're aware of the sound, and the impermanence is inherent in the sound.
Yeah. This is the difference between mikpa and ngepa, though.
Yeah. Well, it's delicate. Okay. Anyway, can you perceive sound without being aware of its transitory nature? That's the question. Yeah.
Hope so.
And somehow, if you could be aware of its transitory nature, even as you hear it, you would be seeing something with a self nature. That's the point here. It's a little tricky.
Yeah.
A little tricky. Okay. If it's assumed that when you hear a sound, you are aware of its transitoriness, then that sound must be self-existent. That's the argument. Okay. It's a little tricky.
Yeah, and this was a we were on 452. So this was a sarcastic statement. Yeah.
Yeah.
The spell here went down.
Yeah.
Isn't that sound self-existent in this school?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Let's keep going. Thank you.
Dry ting dot me John Ze dry ze yina yin shake dra mikpa na dry dot me mik gu kyang ze mam yimpe dot me par ma mikpa yin la de cheer dot me par ma mik kyang dot ye par mik mi mingu so shena.
Yeah, now this time you have a shena, which means what, Adam? It implies what?
So incorrect. That whatever's about to
Yeah.
follow, somebody
Yeah.
else would. Incorrect.
And by the way, we don't know how far back it started.
Yeah. Okay.
But we definitely know that 453 is a wrong statement.
Yeah.
So let's talk about it. Dai Tengdu. Dai Tengi Dagme. What's that mean?
The self-assistive sound.
Yeah, the fact that sound is not itself. If you wanted to go to highest school of Buddhism, which we're not in, well, let's say in the logic schools, what would be the self nature of sound?
Its ultimate nature would be the fact that you're perceiving it. Like
Let's say Dak Chik Rawang Chen, right? It would have to be unchanging, it would have to be singular, and it would have to be independent. Okay. In this school, okay. So
like,
yeah.
You just said Dak Chik Rangwang Chen describes ultimate nature in this school.
And also in the Abhidharma school, basically.
Okay, cool. I just want, yeah, that seems pretty important. So I'm going to make a note of that.
Out of those three, I think there's a distinction between which one of the three the two schools like the most. That's another different point. Okay.
Okay.
So anyway, let's say if the non-self-existence of sound is part of sound, right? Zay. And by the way, when he says Zay here,
Yeah.
he means quality.
Okay.
And when he says quality, it cannot be the absence of something.
So this is where you put the positive piece here.
Yeah. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
He wants it to be a positive quality and not something that sound is missing.
Okay.
Okay. So, and by the way, this subject is not as simplistic as it sounds. It's quite difficult. It's more difficult than you think. So
Okay.
anyway, if not having self-existence were a quality of sound, that's the point, okay?
Mhm.
A positive quality of sound. That's the point here, okay? Then when you became aware of a sound with your ear, right?
Mhm.
Then you would also you should also become aware of the fact that the sound has no self-nature.
Yeah.
Okay, so if having no self-nature was a positive quality of sound, then whenever you heard sound, you should be aware of the no self-nature of the sound.
Yeah.
If it's a positive quality of sound, okay?
Mm.
But it's not. Okay, Ze Mayimbe means the dakme of sound is not a positive quality. Okay. Therefore, when you're aware of sound, you are not automatically aware of its lack of self-nature.
Yeah.
Okay. And then he says, look, therefore, even if you're not aware of the no self-nature of the sound,
Mhm.
that doesn't necessarily mean that you are focusing on a self-nature of sound.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll say it again. Just because you're not aware of the no self-nature of sound doesn't necessarily imply that you are aware of the self-nature of sound.
Yeah.
Okay, he says, and now we have to fight with him about it. Okay? And the point is, this is all coming from the argument of why do you have to prove to somebody that sound is changing if when they hear it, they're hearing a changing thing already? You know, why do you have to prove to someone that sound is changing if when they hear it, they're listening to a changing thing? Everyone who ever heard a sound was listening to a changing thing. Why do you have to use all this logic to prove that a sound is changing? That's the question. They were aware of it because they're aware of sound. And then we say not necessarily. They were aware of a changing sound, but they weren't aware of the changingness of sound. How's that?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's been the argument all along. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Dun 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 dun.
I was a little worried about that.
Wait, I think you missed a. Did you miss a paragraph?
No, we're on 454, I believe. Yeah, I think so.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Okay.
Diryang Dradam de Yimpe Cha Ze Sudrugna, Nyen Shake de Teni, Ha de Dumamikna, Chick to Mik Gukyang, de Zesu Madrupe, Nyen Shake Mamik Payino, She Juparjao.
Yeah, so Jipajao implies, I think, that this is our Rangluk. Okay, we say,
Yeah.
you know, you should say Jipajao. You should say. So whatever this 454 says, I guess we believe it. Let's look at it. Now this gets really weird. Okay. When you listen to a sound, are you listening to a changing thing?
Yes.
Yes.
Is the changingness and the sound separate things?
Oh,
They are.
well, they're distinct from each other. Let's say that.
Conceptual, yeah.
They're not disconnected, but they are distinct from each other. They are different, right? So is the fact that they are not each other, is that fact substantial? Is it a positive quality?
No. I mean, you said fact. You said if.
Yeah, I said cha. Yeah, cha here means the condition that they are separate. Okay, that very delicate word, cha, like cha cha cha.
That's it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the fact or the condition that sound and its impermanence are separate, okay, is that a positive quality?
No, because I mean, yeah, in order to conceptualize a difference, I mean that it takes conceptualization to recognize a difference, I would say.
I think we're going back to, if you recognize that sound and its impermanence are separate, it must be you're thinking about the opposite of them being the same.
Okay.
The same thing. You see what I mean? I'll say it again. If you recognize that sound and the impermanence of sound are separate entities,
Yeah.
then you're not thinking that they are the same thing, right?
And that's a negative quality, right?
Yeah, that's a negative thing because you are canceling the fact that they are the same thing.
Right. Sorry.
If it's a cancellation, you can't really call it a positive quality.
Of course, yeah.
Okay, so it's not a substantial in the sense of being a positive quality. Okay, something like that. Okay.
Well, that's kind of tricky right there. That cha-ze. I mean, then.
Yeah. Now, second line here. Nyenshin ki deni tadedu mamigna. When you listen to a sound, do you focus on an impermanent sound, or do you focus on two objects, a sound and the impermanence of sound? I'll say it again. When you listen to a sound, are you listening to an impermanent sound, or are you focusing on two objects, sound and impermanence?
I'd say you're listening to a single one.
I would say so also. And he says here, you do not perceive the two separately.
Right.
Okay, so if you don't perceive the two separately, you must be perceiving them together.
Yeah.
As a single thing. I'll say it again. When you listen to sound, is it changing? Yes. Are you thinking, oh, listen, there's two things going on, sound and something changing? No, you don't think like that. So you must be perceiving them in a lump, let's say, right?
Yeah.
As a single lump, chick to make good, okay? But is that lump a positive entity?
Yes.
He says, Zesu Madru.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, yeah, because it has, yeah, sorry, go ahead. I'm sorry again.
That's all. That's all. He says it's not you have to listen to them together, but their being together is not a separate entity of it on its own. Okay.
Okay.
Therefore we say that your auditory consciousness was not listening to the impermanence of sound.
Okay.
It was listening to an impermanent sound, but it was not listening to the impermanence of sound as that. Okay. As two separate things. Right.
I think so. I mean, I'm definitely going to sit with it. And
no, by the way, you have to sit with this.
Yeah.
And it's deep. And if someone says I understand it right away, I don't believe you, and I don't understand it myself right away. I think then you have to decide: are you going to take this home and sit with it, or are you going to just make dinner? I'm wavering between the two. All right. Next paragraph. Yeah.
We're back. Sorry again. Yeah, we're back on you. I'm going to give you the plane.
Hey, Lindsay, how can I focus on this with kitties rubbing against my leg? I got this cat. All right. Here we
Nearly impossible.
Nearly impossible. I gotta go find your book, Adam. Hang on.
Drink this shaft of light here.
Yeah, hang on just a minute. I gotta go get your book. Adam. Yuki Munstone. This is Yuki Munstone. This is Beth. This is. Uh-oh. Hang on. Hang on. I don't know, something happening to me. Here we go. Okay. Too many books on my screen. Let's see here. Okay. All right, now I can share. Let me see. Okay. Good, right, Adam? What paragraph are we on?
1455.
Okay, who's gonna read, Adam?
I pull up a list of the participants here. Venerable Sunam, would you help us? Venerable Sunam. See, Marina?
Marina. Hi, Teddy. I just saw you. Thanks for all your help recently.
Or let's see, Dodo? Dodo, would you help us?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
You got picked on 3 times today.
他大营北
Adam, you got the plane. You got the plane.
Yes, sir.
차제수 마주배 교천지인 제나
Yeah, beautiful.
자당 미탁배 타대 제수 죽나 자당 미탁배 타대 덴발 죽급배 괜히 sorry you were 덴배 타대두 아두 겨라 대타르나 괜히 제타대두 겨외치로
All right,
Okay,
man.
good. Tade Yimbe Cha. The fact that they are separate. What? I guess sound and its impermanence, right? By the way, is sound separate from sound's impermanence?
Yes.
I mean, conceptually distinct, yes.
So is there such a thing as the difference between sound and its impermanence?
I mean,
Yes.
there has to be.
Yeah, but is that a positive entity? Can you hold it?
No, that's a negative entity.
Yeah, in fact, it's a unchanging fact, right?
Negative. Yeah.
The fact that they are separate, right? Then somebody comes along and says, why do you say that the fact that sound and its impermanence are separate cannot be a positive entity? You know, separate, nice little lumpy thing. Okay.
Yeah.
You know, why do you say that? That's somebody has asked the question. All right. Why do you say that? Then we say, if it were the case that the fact that sound and its impermanence are separate existed as a separate entity, a separate changing entity, not an unchanging entity. Okay. I'll say it again. Is sound separate from its impermanence? Yes. Is that separate existence a positive separate entity? And we say, no, it's not. There's no plump thing called the separateness of sound and its impermanence, okay? If it were a separate entity, if the fact that sound was separate from its impermanence was a separate thing itself and not just a fact, okay? Then sound and its impermanence, the fact that they are separate would have to exist in self-existently. Let's say that way.
Mhm.
Okay. If the fact that sound and its impermanence are separate was itself a positive entity, then then sound and its impermanence existing separately would have to exist in truth, or ultimately speaking. Okay. Our sound, does sound have impermanence? Yes. Does sound connect to its impermanence? Yes. Do they exist as is there a separate, independently existing entity called sound and its impermanence together? No, because that's a concept. Okay.
Yeah.
But if that such a thing did exist, that would be a good example in this school of a self-existing thing.
Okay.
That would be a self-existing thing. Okay. And if they were a self-existent thing, okay, if the fact that sound and its impermanence are separate from each other was a self-existing separate thing, then the sound and its impermanence would be separate, unconnected things.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. But the main point here is that the fact that sound is separate from its impermanence, right? That's not in this school. That's a theoretical thing, and that makes it unchanging. That's all. It's not itself a normal working thing. The fact that they are separate is an idea and not a thing. Okay. That's all.
Yeah.
That's all. Okay. By the way, why are we discussing all this? It's because we have such trouble figuring out that things are not self-existent. Even though every time we look at something, we are seeing it and its self-existence, its lack of self-existence together. I'll say it again. Every time you look at something, anything in the universe, anytime you look at dinner, you are seeing a dinner which is not self-existent, but you don't recognize what you're seeing.
Yeah.
You don't see what you're seeing. Okay. You don't see the fact that it's not coming from its own side. You cannot see it. You don't see that fact. Okay. And that's understandable because that fact is not a thing. It's a theory. It's a theoretical construct.
Yeah.
Okay. And it can only be perceived by deep thought or direct yogic meditation. Direct yogic meditation. Yeah. Okay. They need dembe tade tikirla. Detarna. Therefore, those two things are not such that to be one is to be the other. Okay. Zetade. They need zetade to gyur. Sorry, they are separate entities. What? Sound and
It's changing nature.
its changing nature. They go together, but they are separate. They are not one thing.
Yeah.
Okay. And you can't if they were one thing, nobody would ever get angry in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Okay. If every time someone saw an angry husband, they also understood that that's coming from them. If they could perceive those two things together, no one would ever fight with each other.
Yeah.
It wouldn't exist. And they are always together. They are never separate. But we can't see them together. We can't see that they are together. That's all. Okay. Cool.
Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah. All right. 456. Who's going to read, Adam?
Another victim here. Participant list. Juan, would you help us? Are you translating?
I'm going to say my mantra, okay, Adam?
Please.
If you understood all this stuff before, you don't have to be in this class.
Yeah.
If you don't understand all this stuff, you're in the right place. Okay, here we go.
Let's
Okay.
read.
Okay. Tra yang se sudrup mitakpa yan se sudrup.
Mhm.
Tra tang mitakpa ta de kyang yina.
Yeah.
Eni ta te yimpe che
Cha,
cha
cha, cha, cha.
cha se su madrupar galo shena.
Yeah, and by the way, Juan, why is this percentage mark here in the comma?
I think it's because it's, how to say, suspicious to be a mistake.
Yeah, they missed a comma. They should have had a comma there.
Oh, okay.
So when you see a curly bracket and you see a percentage sign, it means grandpa added something that the carver missed it. And you would think that a simple comma is not so important, but here it's very important. They missed it. The carver missed it. Okay. So Juan, it's like this. He's going, look, one thing is true, two things is true, three things is true. So why not? Okay. So it's like that. The comma means, okay, first of all, draws a Z. What's that mean, you guys? Adam. First of all,
draws substantial.
Yeah, it's a thing. Come on. Sound is a thing. Okay. And impermanence is also
the positive. It's
also a thing. Okay. Changing is a thing. And sound is a thing. Okay. And if the two things are tade,
we're separate.
Then there should be a cha of them being tade.
Yeah, our condition. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, here we go. Look, sound is a thing.
Yeah.
Look, changing is a thing. Look, even if sound and being changing are separate, if they are separate, if that's also they need tade, there should be a condition that they are separate.
Yeah.
Does sound exist as a thing? Yes. Does changing exist as a thing? Yes. Does changing apply to sound? Yes. Are they the same thing? No. Are they distinct from each other? Yes. Is there a condition that they are distinct from each other?
Yes.
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 Now, if there's a condition that two things which are substantial things are separate from each other, then that condition that the two substantial things are separate from each other should also be substantial.
Madrup.
Now he says that. He's like, I'll say it again.
Yeah.
Is this a thing?
Yes.
Is this gamma thing?
Yes.
So
Yes.
are they the same thing?
No.
Are they separate from each other?
Yeah.
They are.
If this thing's a thing and this thing's a thing, then the fact that they're separate should be a
positive thing.
thing. And we say bad logic.
Yeah.
Bad logic. Not necessarily. Yeah. He says it's contradictory to think that. Then we come back with, by the way, in any argument with any girlfriend or boyfriend, etc., wife or husband, you always start with, well, no.
Oh, no. Well,
well then, honey bunny.
Yeah.
Well then. Okay. Who's going to read, Adam?
Let me pull up these participants one more time. Ted, man, would you help us?
Yeah, let me give it a shot. Na ra.
Dra. Ona.
Ona dra ka chicha midan mitapa ke si cha Megki Dag Mi Yina Zasu Rupso par
Zesujuk G
Gur
Partal.
Guru Partal. Deni Yina
Ze. Yeah.
Ze, okay, Zesu Rupso Shing Deni Yina Datmi Yigo Papir.
Ginga Beachir. Say Beachir.
H-cheer. Okay.
Thank you, dude. Thank you for helping.
Yeah, nice. By the way, Adam,
Mm.
he said, look, you're talking about a relationship between two things, right? Yes. What are the two things? Sound and changingness. Okay. Then he says, is sound a positive thing? We say yes. Is changingness a thing? We say yes. Then the fact that one is not the other should also be a substantial.
I don't know about that.
Well, that's what he says.
Well, no.
And then we're going to come back with a parallel, ridiculous statement. We're about to say a parallel, ridiculous statement. You know, since apples are red and since ribbons are red, then oranges are red too. You see what I mean? We're going to say something like that. Okay, here we go. Well then is always just before you destroy the other guy.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. So, and then we give him another ridiculous, okay, if something is one, if something is two, then it must be three. We give him the same pattern.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, well, is da kechichame?
Partless. It's moment. Partless moments.
Yeah, it does sound consist of most tiny milliseconds of sound.
Yeah, in this school, yes.
Yeah. Da kechi chame. This says kechi chame doesn't. Oh yeah. Partless. If sound is made of partless milliseconds, okay. If sound is made up of little balls of time that cannot be split into smaller balls of time, okay, let's say that. And if changingness itself is also made of unsplittable balls of time,
yeah,
okay. Well, if they have no self nature in that sense, don't forget, in this school, something cannot be self-existent if it consists of partless atoms or partless milliseconds of time. Okay, you can't say it's self-existent. Why? It consists of tiny little moments. It doesn't exist in and of itself. It's deconstructible, which is dependence in the Abhidharma school. It can be deconstructed mentally. Therefore, it's not self-existent. That's what it means to be self-existent in these lower schools. I'll say it again. If you can close your eyes and deconstruct the thing into atoms and smallest moments, then it is not self-existent.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's take sound, which is composed of smallest instance of time. Sorry. He says smallest moments of time in the duration of the sound. Let's consider the duration of the sound. It consists of smallest moments of time. Therefore, it's not. Therefore, it does have a self nature. It's real.
Oh, yeah, in this school, yeah, totally. That's reality.
Time is real because you can break it down into atoms of time.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, and let's say that changingness itself is made of smallest moments of time. Okay.
Okay.
And that is their lack of self-nature in this school.
Okay.
In a sense, that is their emptiness in this school.
Right.
They can be deconstructed, therefore they are empty. Okay. In this school. Okay. So then I guess they must be separate stuff.
Yeah. Just go.
Because sound is made of tiniest parts, and because changingness is made of smallest parts, then I say they must be real things.
Yeah, totally. I mean, and from the perspective of this school, I would agree. Yeah,
Yeah,
100%.
good. Okay. Then there's a beautiful mistake in the carving.
Yeah.
J instead of Z. And that's what you guys pay me for. If something is one of those two, what are the two?
Mitap ke chik chame and dra ke chik chame.
Yeah, if something is a sound made of partless pieces, and if something is impermanence made of partless milliseconds, okay, then if something is both of them, what's both of them? Sound, which is
changing, and
changing. That's all. If something is both, okay, is sound itself made of partless particles?
yes.
Is momentariness made of the smallest moments of time?
Yes.
No.
He says yes, it is. It is in this school, okay, because it's real. Therefore, if something is both of them together, what's both of them together? It's changing sound.
Yeah.
Changing sound. If something is both of them together, then it's got to be a substance. It's got to be a thing you can hold in your hand. Why? Because the sound is a substance and the impermanence is a substance. And according to you, once you mix two things which are the same type of thing, you get a third thing which is the same type.
Yeah.
You just said that in 456.
Okay.
Okay. You said sound is a thing and changing is a thing. Therefore, the fact that sound is changing is a thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then we came back with, oh, well, I guess the fact that sound is changing has little pieces to it. Because it's made of two things that have little pieces.
Yeah.
Same argument. It's Rikpa Gotsung, parallel reasoning, parallel sick reasoning.
Did you say Rikpe Gosung?
Rikpa Gotsung, yeah.
Rikpe Gosung. Okay.
Yeah. You said if something is a certain way, and if you connect it with something else which is a certain way, then the combination should be the same certain way.
Yeah.
You said that in 456. Now in 457, we say, oh wow, okay, if we can do that kind of thing, then since sound is made of unsplittable moments of auditory stuff, and since impermanence itself is also composed of unsplittable moments, then the combination of the two must be a thing composed of unsplittable moments.
The same thing. Yeah. Or the same quality. Like,
yeah. The same logic that you just used, we are using. Okay. And if anything is either one of those, it has to be dogme. By the way, those two are dogme. What's it mean in this school? Those two, what are the two?
Sound in indivisible moments of sound and indivisible moments of time.
Yeah, good. Impermanence and sound. Okay, those two independently, those two separately are dogme. In this school, they have no self-existence.
Okay.
They do not have self-existence. Why? Because they have component parts.
Yeah.
They are made of parts in this school. Okay. So the combination of them should be self-existent also. Sorry, should be made of. The combination of the two, according to you, should be made of partless particles. Because each of the two is made of partless particles.
Yeah. I mean, I think I see where he's going.
Yeah, that's all.
Okay.
If sound is made of partless particles, and if impermanence itself is made of partless particles, then the fact that sound is impermanent, according to your logic, should be made of partless particles.
Yeah.
Because both of those have no self nature.
Mhm.
which means in this school they're made of little balls.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Therefore, the combination of the two should be made of little balls, but it's not because it's an idea.
Yeah. I mean, this is kind of in the, if I remember correctly, it's in the definition of Rangzhen.
Yeah, so I'll say it again. Is sound made of little balls?
Yes.
Yeah. Is changing made of little balls of time?
Yes.
Therefore, the fact that sound is changing is made of little balls.
But I don't agree. Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah.
Totally.
But by the way, if you disagree, then the fact that sound is changing in this school does have a self-existence
Right.
because it's not made of little balls.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to sit with it again. I'm going to have some
It's,
time.
the fact that sound is changing exists without little balls. And that makes it self-existent in this school. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. And as all of our listeners, the same case, they are left len medon.
You can't say, yeah. You can't respond.
Yeah, you are left speechless.
Huh?
You can't say anything, can you? And we're all like, yeah, but we just didn't understand what the heck you're talking about. That's why we're speechless. Okay. He says he left the guy speechless.
Yeah.
Adam, let's start the next part. I'd like you to read. We're going
Yes,
to
sir.
go comma by comma until we run out of time. We got one
Yes, sir.
minute. Okay,
Dena.
life is made of minutes and we should use every one.
Yes, sir.
Dena,
Therefore, if it's like that,
yeah,
Jada mitap zesu drupching,
Sa-
sound and its impermanence must be substantial.
yeah,
Are
it seems to be separately. Okay, sound is substantial,
Yeah.
and changing is substantial. Why? Because they're made of little balls.
Right. Right.
Okay. Now, are they tade?
Yes.
Yeah. Is there a condition? Is there a fact that they are separate?
Yes.
Is that fact made of little balls?
No.
No.
No, it's a theory. It's a theoretical thing. We'll say it
Yeah.
again. Is sound made of little balls?
Yes.
Is impermanence made of little balls of time?
Yes.
Are the two separate from each other?
They are.
Is the fact that they're separate from each other made of little balls?
No.
No. Good. We got the first 2.5 lines here. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, and you're gonna finish the rest. Ha ha ha.
Oh, are we out of time?
We are. So, but let's we can do a little bit more because the news was so slow.
Thank you again.
Let's finish this paragraph. They
Okay.
need.
Ta de yin
I just want you to do up to the next comma. They need.
Deni ta de yin pe cha te ni ki ze ma yin pe ichir.
Yeah, since the fact that they are different from each other is not made of balls, that's just an idea, right? That's not
Yeah.
made of balls.
Yeah.
They need ta de the ngunsen ki mig miga. It's not necessarily the case that if you see the balls of the sound and you're aware of the balls of the moment by momentness, it doesn't mean that you can directly perceive
Difference between.
they're separate because that's an idea. It's not the sound, it's not the changing. Okay?
Okay. Sir.
Kelte, what's that mean?
They must be contradictory.
Yeah, and no, Nightingale, Kelte.
Oh, Cal. What is this, Cal?
If it's
If
the
that were the case,
yeah,
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, totally. If it were the case that, yeah.
if the cha of the two tade,
Okay, is the factor is the
Good.
fact
yeah,
Yeah,
let's talk about the fact that sound and impermanence are separate. Let's talk about the fact, the mental construct.
uh-huh.
Oh, balls. Let's talk about them, even though the two things have balls.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the fact that they are separate. Okay. Does that have balls?
No.
You have balls to talk about this. Jason, okay, yeah. If that's not substantial, if the fact that they are separate is not a separate thing with its
Mhm.
own components, okay?
Yeah.
Then when you perceive that they are, then your perception that they are separate is only a topa.
Yeah, it's a mental, it's a conceptualization. It's a, yeah.
Yeah, it's just an imagination. You're just imagining it, okay? Does the sound have little pieces?
Yes.
Does the impermanence have little pieces?
Sure. Yes.
Does the fact that sound is impermanent have little pieces?
No.
Can you perceive the fact that sound is impermanent?
Yes.
Therefore, when you perceive the fact that sound is impermanent, you are not perceiving little pieces. You are making the whole thing up.
Good talk. Yeah.
It's a creation of your imagination. So far, so good, right?
Yeah.
Then he's good so far, and then he goes off track. Okay.
Okay.
I agree that sound is made of little pieces. I agree that the fact that it changes is made of little pieces of time.
Yeah.
And I also can accept the idea that when you perceive that sound is made up of little pieces of time, that's an imagination. That's a creation of your mind. I agree.
Mhm.
I agree that perception is a creation of your mind, and it doesn't have little pieces.
Okay.
Therefore, those two things are not separate.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
That now his last little piece there is the where he fell off the cliff.
Okay.
Since putting them together is a conception, then they're not really separate, are they?
They're not.
Yeah.
Not
Okay.
really.
That's good. Yeah. It's great food for dinner tonight. I'll chew on that one.
No, and by the way, the whole conversation is not BS. It's not bullshit. It's not waste of time. Why can we be surrounded by things which have emptiness all day long, our whole life long, and we don't see it? How is that even possible? How can we live in a world where every single thing around us is empty and we don't see the emptiness? Why do we have to work for a zillion lifetimes to see the emptiness? What's wrong with it?
Yeah.
All right. Yay, stopped here. Okay. So Adam, next time, can you do 460, 461, 462, 463? They're so short.
I'd be happy to. Yeah.
4 parts, okay?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for numbering all this stuff. By the way, he's going to start quoting Ben Kramer's little book there. And we'll get a head start on Ben's ideas. Okay.
Cool.
He's going to start quoting Pramana Vartika.
Awesome.
All right. By the way, if you're listening and you're lost, that means you're learning something you didn't know before. And that's a great thing. Okay. All right. See you guys. What day? Saturday, right?
Saturday. Thank you so much, Geshe Michael. Amazing classes. And thank you so much, everybody, for staying with it. We have a lot of people still here in this room subjecting themselves to this extraordinary abuse. I am so impressed to be in a place where currently 244, well, it was 246 a moment ago.
No,
But
again, it's just so difficult in Zoom to find the off button that day.
I'm so thrilled that there are other people like me who can find it compelling to sit through a whole class and not feel the impediment of not understanding should stop me from being here. Thank you so much, Geshe Michael, for being patient with our little ant brains and going slow and taking time with us and being so understanding. And thank you, everyone, translators. I have no idea how you do it, but we're so fortunate that you do. Everyone continuing to contribute to being a part of this community and supporting this community you can see here that minds are changing. You can feel your brain being stretched. It's like yoga for the mind. You can feel it's stressful. My brain is sweating. It must mean we're all growing together. And it's an honor to be in this place with you. Thank you, Adam, for translating ahead, working hard. Thank you, Geshe Michael. Thank you, Nick. Fly safely.
Okay.
So no discussion after this one, huh?
Nope. No. Only the first
No,
one.
I mean, I'm going to go discuss with Ezra, but
Hey, Adam, give a hug to your baby for us, okay?
I certainly will, sir. Yeah, I certainly will.
I really enjoy when you send me photographs, so don't forget.
I'll send you some more again. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, guys.
I like them too.
Okay.
All right, guys. Thank you.
all right, friends.
My class. Hi, everybody. Please stay.